Ladies and gentlemen, Battlefield 2042 has officially arrived. Well, at least the beta has, but nonetheless, I feel like a young boy on Christmas morning, getting ready to open up all of my presents that I most certainly didn't deserve since I was a disgrace of a child growing up. Ever since Battlefield 3, I've loved the Battlefield franchise and I've always looked forward to the next game DICE comes out with. But has Battlefield 2042 lived up to all the hype? In this video, we're going to talk about 5 things you need to know before buying Battlefield 2042, along with my super accurate impressions of the game. We finally have something to sink our cravings into that doesn't involve hackers plaguing an entire game or 13-year-old kids being mouse and keyboard warriors and double pump shotgunning you in the face. I hope you got both of those references, but let's get right into it. First off, the graphics in the game look absolutely majestic. When I started playing it, I immediately fell in love with it. Just how I fall in love with my right hand right after a breakup. Textures of the map look crisp, the lighting and colors make the game come to life, and it really just shows how much time and effort DICE has put into this aspect of Battlefield 2042. On the other hand, there are some obvious issues with inconsistent frame rates, which can make the game feel unstable at times, exactly like my ex was. At some points, I could be running around the terrain, flying around issue-free, but then at others, I worry that I'm putting a huge load on my PC. Supposedly, PS5 players are having a hell of a time with glitches all over the place, but this is a beta after all. Since this beta is based off a build of the game from 2 months ago, I'm confident that DICE will fix this issue before the game releases in November. Second, Battlefield 2042 looks to overhaul the boots on the ground gameplay with a series of new additions, but this isn't the first time that DICE has shit the bed with this one, so let's take a further look. Within the beta, there are 4 operators to choose from, each with unique abilities that help you in certain situations as you play. To start, you have a guy who has a grappling hook. So if you're looking to become a futuristic Rambo and swing around the map like you're King Kong, this is the guy for you. Next up, we have a guy named Boris, who by the sounds of it definitely comes from a Mexican heritage, and is the nerd of the squad that is able to deploy a sentry system to help with gunfights. I highly recommend this operator for the player who is a complete embarrassment when it comes to hitting shots on enemy players. It will make you look better, and you won't feel completely useless while playing with your friends. Long-term Battlefield fans are going to love the next operator, as he solely promotes camping and trying to snipe people from 1,000 meters away. With a recon drone and a movement sensor in your back pocket, you will always have a permanent UAV right on your side. This operator is perfect for the player that wants their teammates to do all of the work for them. You gotta love participation trophies. And for the last one, we have the combat surgeon, which she is pretty straightforward. She has the ability to heal herself quicker along with reviving teammates that are downed. If you have a squad that doesn't know how to stay alive, this operator is a must, and as a side note, she kinda thick though. There are a variety of weapons, tacticals, and equipment to choose from, and having that power of choice is quite special. For some people, this will be their first time experiencing something powerful like this. The assault rifles seem to be the most effective across the board, whereas SMGs don't seem to hit as hard, and LMGs are there just to spray meaningless bullets downfield. The DMR is a solid option, and the sniper actually feels satisfying when you doink someone right in the noggin. The recoil of the guns seem pretty easy to control, and at range they are balanced enough to not feel like someone has aimbot hacks. Speaking of hacks, Battlefield 2042 plans to run off an easy anti-cheat, the same anti-cheat used in many games such as Fortnite and Apex Legends. Hopefully this game doesn't become a Warzone 2.0, because that would be pretty sad. I never would have thought I would be saying this, but Battlefield has actually stolen movement elements straight from Call of Duty. Yes, you heard that first. You are now able to use tactical sprint, you can slide cancel, and most important of all, you can now bunny hop across player screens. So, if you are tired of getting pub stomped by wannabe Call of Duty pros while playing Warzone, you can take your wash talents right over here. There is also a new customization system where you can swap out whatever attachments you like at any given moment. The versatility of this is amazing, but not as amazing as shooting your shot and scoring with someone better than a 4 out of 10. Whether you need to kit your weapon for close quarters or put on a higher zoom scope to hit your enemies from afar, the options are all right there in front of you. There are a limited amount of attachments to choose from in the beta, but there will be more when the full game releases. Oh, and of course, what would Battlefield be without assassinations? They are back, and nothing is more satisfying than creeping up behind a player and sticking it from behind. Third, Vehicles have always had a massive role in the Battlefield franchise, and in Battlefield 2042, this is no different. When you want to take to the skies, you have a couple of different options to choose from. You have a fighter jet, an attack helicopter, a scout helicopter, and a transport helicopter, which in all honesty, who even chooses that shit anyways? The fighter jet has a very similar feel to what it was like in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, and it's a lot of fun to use. Being able to take down other vehicles with ease and attempt bombing runs like it's World War II really brings another element into the game. I do think that the flares tend to only work half of the time, and this actually goes for all of the air vehicles. So, for all of the people who only sit and spawn with their anti-aircraft gun or with their lock-on RPG just shooting vehicles all day, I know you're ecstatic to hear this. The attack helicopter is exactly what it sounds like, a deadly machine that you can rain a barrage of missiles on helpless enemies, along with asserting your dominance on the battlefield. If you seem to be having trouble proving you're an alpha male elsewhere, the attack helicopter will suit you just fine. Along with this, having a gunner helps dramatically, as anything in twos is always better, except for a double date gone wrong. The scout helicopter is pretty similar, with it having the proper weapons to do some damage, but with it being quicker than the attack helicopter. I did find it odd that when I sent 10 missiles towards an enemy with absolutely zero cover, they still magically survived. It's almost as if I'm shooting Nerf bullets at my enemies, but I guess it can get the job done. On the ground, you are limited to a car, a tank, and an anti-aircraft vehicle. For any players who find refuge in sitting in a tank or in an AA vehicle all day, you have a special place in my heart. This also includes the player who sits at respawn frantically button smashing their controller to hijack a vehicle from the rest of the team. We know who you are. The tank is a tank. It destroys a lot of shit, players are scared of it, and you feel invincible in it. Until you are not. If used properly, and I mean not sitting in no man's land trying to shoot helicopters out of the sky, it can do a lot of damage, just like your partner telling you they don't love you. Fourth, the map size and the feel. There is only one map available to play within the beta, with it being called Orbital. It essentially is a jungle with a completely random missile launch site right smack in the middle of it. And it is big. And when I mean big like my cop. The map can hold 128 players, and if actual players do not fill the lobby, there are AI bots that take over in the game. So, word of caution, any sick clip that you see on the internet, take it with a grain of salt. One of the main attractions is a massive rocket that as the course of the game goes on, it fuels up and lifts off. I never had a chance to grapple a hook to it and fly up with it, but I'd imagine it would be more exciting than the day I lost my V card. Finally, we have the weather elements of the map, the tornado. At first, it didn't sound like anything interesting to me, but once I experienced it in-game, it was something unique that was so creamy to me. When traveling towards it, it sucked me in like I've never been sucked before, and showed me who's boss by tossing me all around. I was a little disappointed that I couldn't destroy my helicopter, but maybe it was because of it not having enough force. Overall, I enjoyed playing the beta, and even though there have been some criticisms regarding optimization issues, the map feeling too big, AI bots playing against players, and more, I think it has a solid foundation. Critics think that this game needs to be pushed back a couple more months to polish these issues and have a strong launch day. But when was the last time a game released perfectly with no issues, especially during COVID-19? At its core, Battlefield has engaging elements that not only create a new experience for both new players of the franchise and veterans, but also align with the core values of what it's like to play a Battlefield game. And I know, you also have Call of Duty Vanguard releasing in November and Halo Infinite in December that are going to give Battlefield 2042 a run for its money. But that is completely fine. Competition is a great thing, because it encourages game developers to focus more on their games than ever before. Except Warzone. They could really care less for anything except your money. I think you should buy Battlefield 2042 and believe in it, because once these issues are resolved and the game is as smooth as ever, you're going to regret that you did it in the first place. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more Battlefield 2042 content. Make sure to turn that notification bell on, and it only takes a second. If you really hate me and my content, you can unsubscribe at any given moment, but I know you wouldn't do that. I previously was making cookie cutter Warzone videos, but I will no longer sacrifice my life to that shit moving forward. I also live stream on Twitch and YouTube throughout the week, with a link to Twitch in the description down below. And for every person that comes over and tells me this phrase, "I love pineapples," I will personally treat you to something special. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.